secret sauce, the sauce to weight loss. These have to be there, or it's probably not going to happen. Or would you say it's not going to happen? No, probably.
It's got to happen. You got to have this or it's not going to happen. Anybody that's making it happen, this is going on.
All right. Well, guys, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss these 2 videos a week. We love having you here, and we want you to get notified. All right. Dive in, baby. What do we got? What needs to happen? What's the sauce?
Have you ever noticed when somebody's in a new relationship, many times they're losing weight like it's the easiest thing in the world? And what I'm saying is what has happened is
emphasis on new relationship.
New relationship. So suddenly there's something more important in their lives than the way food makes them feel. You've got to have something in your life that's more important than the way food makes you feel. Or why wouldn't you just eat all the time? Why wouldn't you? And the issue is, for a lot of people, it's a real struggle because food is so enjoyable, and that sounds harsh. What do you mean there's nothing more important? I love my this and I love that, and I get it. But you've got to come to terms on some level with, well, food maybe is too important. There's something's going to have to rise up inside of you that motivates you. That's the sauce, motivation. If you're lacking motivation, you've got to have something that motivates you.
Can we give them a few of the primary examples, categories of here is, take that. Ride that wave. And dating.
Yeah. So you can have motivations that are fear motivations or reward motivations, right? So it can be either one. So dating would be one.
Okay.
And another one more on the fear side would be dying. You go to your doctor and he says, you're going to die. And they do that on the 600-pound life a lot of times. He says, you realize you're about to die. Your body cannot take this much longer. And he says, and I've got that accent down, as you can tell, pretty good.
That's pretty good.
How y'all doing today? You're going to die. What are you thinking? And he's looking at them like they're huge. And it's like, you're going to die? So there's dying, dating, dying. Mm-hmm. And then a third one, because I do talks about this sometimes, is to keep all the D's going, dinero. Do you know what dinero is? Not money. Not Robert De Niro.
Obviously.
It's Robert De Niro. Is that his name?
Robert De Niro, yeah. How does money fit in?
Money, right? Because suddenly you're working for Amway or Isagenix or Zija or something, and you're like, I'm selling these health products, Shakely, and now I got to look like I'm using them. So now they're motivated, and they're combining, these products are really good, but now all of a sudden something's important enough to me to not have a second helping. Dying, dating, dinero. And then another one that I thought of was dinking. They're playing pickleball now. And isn't it interesting to you when you see somebody out there that's good at pickleball and they're playing with this extra 50 pounds on their body? I mean, when you see that, aren't you like, bro, maybe if you lose 50 pounds.
Don't get me wrong.
If this is fun,
there's some good
imagine
players.
How much fun it'll be.
There's some good players out there that are a little on the heavier side.
They are. But what do you think would happen if they lost 50 pounds? If they're 50 pounds overweight?
If they're really trying to get competitive with it.
But obviously, that's not motivating them. It would motivate me, I believe.
Sure.
Which is why I'm not. That's one reason I'm not there. Is I am motivated to be able to move better.
Mm-hmm. It does motivate.
I'll say, a lot of times people are impressed at 60, the balls that I can get to. It's like, well, I'm relatively healthy. I'm fit. I'm kind of athletic and that's fun for me. I wouldn't want to be hitting lobs, And they say, people get mad at you for lobbing, but I'm like, bro, you're the one that's that big. I'm sorry. I'm going to lob it over your head, and people hate it when you do that. I'm like, I can't help it. You're better than me.
Especially,
you're better than me for various reasons. I'm going to do what I'm going to see. Can you get to it, bro? No, he can't get to it. It's terrible, isn't it?
That's terrible.
I'm sorry. I won't keep doing that.
Dating, dying, dinero, dinking. What is the motivation that wells up inside of you or around you circumstantially that causes the fixation and convenience and fun of food to drop a little?
It can drop a little, or this can raise a little. That's the thing. I mean, I know a guy I'm thinking of who I was talking to him one time, and he was big, and he was talking about wanting to lose weight, and suddenly I see him on Facebook dropping all this weight, and I'm like, oh, he's got a new got a girlfriend, and I don't know what he's doing, but it don't matter. He's gonna do it now. Suddenly, he's gonna do it, and that's the guy I was thinking of.
So, what would you say to those watching that say, I got 60, 70 pounds to lose, and so I clearly don't have, and that's, you already kind of mentioned it, alluded to it, but that's tough to admit. And some people might be like, no, that I care about these other things.
I really care. Yeah, I care more than so-and-so, and they're skinny, you know.
What would you say to that? Like, I could name 3 or 4 things right now that I do care more about than food. God, my family, blah, blah.
You mentioned God. Another one, and it's a D also, is devotion. And we both know a pastor. Well, Pastor Curt, he said, I believe God has called me to a lifestyle of fasting. And Curt was overweight. He was obese. And he ended up losing 85 pounds. I got to help him do that. And when he talked about a lifestyle of fasting, it means I'm going to be devoted to the Lord enough to where I'm sacrificing this enjoyment of eating for something greater, for something else. And so is that, as you're asking, is that something you can just choose? And the people that say, I am. What do you say to somebody that says, I love God, love my family, this has just got me? Is it fair to say, well, these other things need to matter more? Because maybe we can't, I think you could choose to hold food more lightly, and I do think that's critical. But you could also choose for this thing over here to be more important. Exactly. So, a combination of the two, most likely.
Well, and keep going, but I just wanted to say, I will link the Curt video below because, like Trainer Joe's saying, very applicable to what we're talking about here, and it's such a good video. So yeah, we'll have that below. You should watch that as well. But keep going.
Yeah. So choosing. I remember when I was in insurance years ago, and we had a contest every year. It was for the President's Round Table. And it was just the top few people in the company would achieve that. And one year I had never made it, and I talked to my wife, and I said, hey, I've gotten kind of close to that. Should we make that a commitment? And so in our mind, we had to decide, mentally choose, let's make this more important. And I do think you can do that. You can just choose to make something more important because you recognize the benefit, the value of doing that. And I think sometimes we're like, if it doesn't happen inherently and naturally, then I'm just pretending. I don't think that's true. I think you can choose. I mean, you're doing that in some things. You've chosen to make things more important. I mean, that's how we live our lives, is choosing what's important to you. I do think there are some things that are inherent. You seem to naturally love your children, and grandchildren. There's natural, but you can also choose to make things a priority when you understand this is of great value to me and I've got to act like it.
Yeah. I agree. So your answer to someone that says, Trainer Joe, I have these other passions, food, I don't think food is that huge of a passion for me that's above these other things because I have these other passions, but I'm still 70 pounds overweight. Would you say you're not seeing it clearly enough?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I would. I'd love to give everybody the benefit of the doubt and say, yeah, you're right. But what happens when you do that? So what if I say to that person, like you're saying, I've done this, I've done that, I've done that. Okay, yeah, you're right. Stay fat. There's no hope for you. Is that the answer? Or I think what some are going to say is, no, I have this disease. I need these medications. Okay, go take them then. Oh, but they have these terrible side effects. Okay, then we're back to square one. Now you got to make them more. What do you want me to say? I'm just not going to be the guy that says, okay, you're doomed forever because you're the special person that really, really, really cares and it just doesn't work for you and you really, really care about these other things, but there's just no way out for you. Is that a loving response to somebody? Are we really being honest when we say, yeah, you're the exception, it won't work for you? And I know that comes across. I know how people look at that and say, you don't understand. And it's like, really? Is there a chance that person doesn't understand? That's saying I don't understand. Is there a chance? Are you saying there's a chance? So I would say that, of course, there are ramifications. Of course, there are other little things going on in your life that make it difficult, that are stressful, that happen to you. And I think we can say those things are explanations, but not excuses. And we need, okay, this explains why it's harder for me. This explains why I need to be more devoted. But it's not an excuse to stay where you are. And that's what we're here for. I would hope that somebody in that position that's been thinking, I can't. Because unlike all these people you've been talking to, I'm different. Mm-hmm. What I hope is that they see this and realize, no, I'm not different. I need to care more. I need to care more about dying. I need to care more about the people in my life, dating or relationships. I need to care more, and I need to choose that. Mm. Why not eat? That's fun. Yeah, you can just make that your thing. I'm going to make eating my thing. And some people would admit, it's not that important to me. I don't care if I'm overweight. I guess we're not talking to that person. You think?
Yeah, I don't think we're talking to that person. I don't think they're watching this video.
They might be, and then laughing at it. I don't care. Yeah, so I'm big. What's wrong with you people? Eat some steak.
Yeah, I don't
nothing wrong with steak.
I don't
Eat potato.
They're watching it with good faith.
Well, should we make a video for them? The I don't care people.
Maybe.
A lot of people are there. We've known people that said, I don't care. And then eventually they start caring and something happens. Something happens. The doctor says, you're gonna need insulin, Bill, you need some insulin. What? Insulin? And suddenly, I don't know why they talk like that, but suddenly it's important to them, So a lot of times we didn't care, which is why which is just a person being maybe more honest. Mm-hmm. They get to this place, it's like, what the heck happened? Well, you didn't care. You admitted you didn't care. But then the other person says, oh, I care. It's like, well, but you're on the same path as the guy that doesn't care. So there's not, it's not a big distinction. We need evidence. Yeah, we need to see evidence that this is important to us. And when we're walking around 50, 80, 100 pounds overweight, is there really sufficient evidence that this is important to me? What are we supposed to conclude? So here we are. We want to help that person that is legitimate. They really do want help. They don't want to stay there, but something's not connecting properly, or it would be happening.
Yeah.
I always feel like when we start articulating and making sense, that only makes some people madder. They're like, these guys think they have a degree in nutrition and psychiatry. Don't you? It's like the closer you get to really hitting their button, the more they just want to slap you across the face. That tends to be how we are until we finally humble ourselves and say, okay, I give up. You're right.
Yeah, it's hard. You're right. It's hard.
It is hard.
When it's getting close the truth starts
They start meddling.
Be revealed.
In my stuff. Oh, they're getting close to what's really going on in my life. Get away from me. I just want to do that.
And again, it's how has the approach you've been taking, the casual approach, the approach of maybe watching some weight loss videos or trying some weight loss plans half-heartedly, kind of customizing them, how's that been working? And if it hasn't been working, and for the last 10 years you've been stuck at 80 pounds overweight, 50 pounds overweight, you may want to try this. You may want to receive this. You may want to, humbly receive something and try it out.
Some people have an issue with becoming desperate. They're like, I don't want to be desperate for anything. And it's like what I've seen with weight loss is if you're desperate, it's easy. Yeah. And if you're not desperate, it's nearly impossible. That's the way it is. Anything. And some people reject, I'm not going to be desperate because they see that as somebody that's going to have an eating disorder. If I'm desperate,
extreme.
I'm going to be extreme. And they equate the two. If I'm desperate, that means I'm extreme, and that's bad. Weighing 80 pounds too much is not bad. But being desperate / extreme, now that's bad.
That's a good point.
What a lot of people
culture has told us that it's harmful to...
It's harmful.
Harmful. To go to extremes, but then we overlook the extremes and call them normal.
Yes, you've got to get beyond that because that's where a lot of people get stuck. They're like, I'm not going to be that person that weighs myself.
Right.
Well, that is so last week. I'm just not going to do that.
Right.
And it's like, okay, what are your options then? Well, I'm going to find this balance. And I had one lady in my group. She said, all I was looking for, Joe, was balance in my life. And every time I think I found it, I'm still 50 pounds overweight. She's like, that's not the balance I want. I believe for a lot of people, you have to be willing to say, you know what? I'm gonna not be too concerned if I look extreme.
Yeah, that's good.
Because suddenly, then it's gonna start working for you, and that's where a lot of people have a hang up. I'm not gonna be that extreme person. Hey, if you can do it without being extreme, I'm all for it.
Okay.
But that's what they've been doing. Is the casual, I'm just going to do this. I just want to be healthier. I'm going to start eating a little better. And they've done these little things that amounted to nothing.
Yeah.
And that's what they got from it.
Excuse me. I was talking to a friend not long ago, and they were all about the balance, all about the don't deprive, listen to your body, don't deprive your body.
Right.
They didn't like the embrace the hunger slogan.
Intuitive, which means eat whatever you want. I'm sorry. I know some people say that's not what it means.
Well, right. And in talking to them, I'm like, so how has this intuitive listening to your body been working for you? You know, we're friends, and you're a cool person. I like you, but it's not been working because you've been the same weight, overweight,
Tell me who.
for the last 10 years. It's not
man.
working. But you're so confident in the way you're advocating.
But they're so confident
for this. It's odd. It's odd.
Yeah. I like when we post something like how to lose 20 pounds in a month. I'm like, that is crazy. That is the dumbest thing in the world. Well, here's 18 people that did it last month. I'm like, I'm not saying it's the ideal. But you know, that's what a lot of people want. They want the ideal. And they're like, I'm not going to do this until I find the ideal. And it's not there. And so they always have this excuse. And in their mind, it's the noble way. Yeah. I'm going to do this in a very noble, honorable way. I'm not going to starve myself. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to get hungry. I'm not going to weigh myself. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do this in the most, what's the word? You know, I'm
balanced.
Such a good person. I'm going to do this like good people do it.
Virtuous.
I want to do this virtuously. Not where I do something like skip
radical
dinner, go to bed hungry. I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to do it and that's a hang up for people. Yeah. I'm going to do this in the best way possible. That's like somebody that wants the perfect workout, but they don't walk for 20 minutes. They're waiting to find this perfect workout, but you can't get them to go for a 20-minute walk every day. So it is you better find something that has been proven to work and do it. If you want to come up with your own, that's fine, but there are plenty out there like mine that work if you do them. But we want to take a plan and make it our own.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
And make it this perfect plan. Mm-hmm. Instead of, no, do it my way. We don't like that either.
Right. Well, yeah, if you want to do the Trainer Joe program and try this one out, and it's probably going to be a little different than things you've tried in the past, the link is in the description for the 21-day transformation. Bring us home with something very short and sweet just to encourage, because it's been there's been lots of kind of jabs. Ooh, that was good, but that hurt. Some encouragement. Leave with some encouragement.
Remember one of my first clients, Tony,
of course.
Don't say a last name. Tony didn't give us. He was kind of fat, and I think he was kind of realizing, I need to find a wife.
Okay.
And he got looking good. I remember.
He got looking real good.
I remember. There were some ladies from a dental office locally that came over like for a consultation, and Tony was leaving as they were coming in, and they were from like Costa Rica. And one of them said, who was that? As Tony was leaving, and because Tony he had lost his weight, and he ended up marrying
the stud muffin.
Yeah, he ended up getting married to a yoga instructor. I'm not just saying. It does tend to open up some doors for people. I don't know what motivates you, and to be fair, there's another D that's display. I want to be on display. I want to look good, and
vain.
I know the vanity thing, but we all seem to. Who doesn't want to look good? You want to wear clothes that look good on you and that feel. Who doesn't want that? And that doesn't have to be vain. That can be virtuous. And I think we need to have this idea that it's okay that I want to look good and feel good. Give yourself permission and realize, no,
present myself well.
Present myself well. Everything. When somebody's doing my program, and I'm like, you might have to make some sacrifices here or there, but everything we're asking you to do is good. It's good, and it's for your good. And we're not asking you to learn how to live with too little. And Paul said, I've learned to be content with too little. With not enough. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about? He said, not enough. We're not asking anybody to do that. We're just asking you to learn how to be content with enough. So it's all good. what we're encouraging you to do is all good. So rest in it, relax, give yourself permission to do it, and have some fun.
There you go. Comment below, you guys. What did you think about this video? I felt like even though it was following the thread of like, here's the secret sauce to weight loss, and you know, we broke it down. There was a lot of winding in and out. Donald Trump calls it the weave. Lots of weaving in and out.
We did a little Donald Trump weave.
Jumping,
like him or not, he weaves, and we did a little of the weaving.
Jumping into some different directions. What were your overall thoughts on this video, or what's one piece?
We're not promoting.
What's all right? Well, we get it. We're not. It's not a political channel here.
It's not a political channel.
But what stood out to you? Maybe one piece from this video that you're like, yeah, that's good stuff. Hopefully, or something that you disagree with.
Kamala used to weave some.
Kamala would weave.
Kamala did a little weave.
She was the word salad is what they called her weave.
She would word salad. He weaves. We include everybody here. That's all I wanted to say.
We include everybody.
Biden. He's weaving now.
All right.
Weaving
All right, man. Guys,
we include everybody. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Until our next video, make sure you train your brain
and transform your body.